All right. Really good win. To win by 16 points in the SEC, is a really good job by the team. I think that's, challenging every week in this conference. It's always been that way, but now more than ever, we see that. I don't know the scores tonight, but it seems to be that way all the time. These guys took Alabama down to the wire, and we're ahead of Alabama by 8 at the end last week. So they got some really elite defensive players, and I thought our defense really showed up today. Said actually afterwards on the TV interview, just came out, but probably true, is I felt like our fans and our defense showed up today. Our offense in the passing game really didn't. We had some really bad rhythm. I did think our offensive line did some good things, even though third downs were not good. Now, a number of those were in some four-down situations where we did make, 3 really critical fourth-down conversions, but inconsistency in the passing game, and that started it in the third quarter. We ran great in the first half and threw okay, but then the third quarter, they really started playing a lot of man and stopping the run, and you got to beat them in the passing game when they do that. So we didn't for a little bit there, and Trinidad was a little off today, and so when that happens, you need to run the ball really well and play good defense. So if you're plus 200 in rushing, 208, 258 to 50, running the ball in 6 sacks to none, that's a really good job by both lines of scrimmage, which was really a challenge in this room last night in the team meeting was, let's try to dominate on the line of scrimmages and not leave it up to skilled people in the game. And so I thought they did that. And our defense kept answering the call in the second half, which was great to see. That's what you want to see. You don't always want it to be one side. So we got a chance. I think that radio guy said, I didn't know this, that this is 5 Novembers in a row we've been relative. So we're gonna have to finish this off and get better and play really well in the weeks to come.
Questions? We'll start right here. Go ahead,
Right before that muff, what were you telling Trinidad on the sidelines before you guys came out for those 3 plays that led to a field goal?
Right before the muff or right after it? Right after. Yeah. You got them. It's good teamwork. That's what we say. You got to pick each other up when they screw up. After, yes. I just said, hey, okay, we hadn't played really well to this point here. Let's make really good decisions here, and we put the ball on the ground a little bit there, running the ball, and so we just didn't a couple drives there, and we didn't call the best of plays, and so that happens sometimes.
Lane, you mentioned how the fans showed up tonight. It seemed like there was a campaign all week on social media to get people here to Vaught-Hemingway Stadium. How was the response from the fans tonight, and what did you see from kind of the Ole Miss faithful?
Yeah, I thought it was great. I thought that, like I said, the challenge kind of is like if you're going to have, I have all these things we talk about, if you're going to be an elite team and things we got to do. If you're going to be elite environment, you got to get there early because that starts in warm-ups with the other team and how you feel it. And I thought when we came back out, it was really intense and looked up and it was loaded. So it's great to see. I think teams feed off that, especially defensively. You think about a lot of elite, loud environments, and you think over years of time, a lot of times they usually have some really good defenses. So I think defensive players especially respond to that. So it was great to see. I probably got us a penalty there at the end, because I was just excited, that we made an interception. Those don't happen a lot around here lately. And so when we did, and the student section was right there, I just told the guys to go down. I didn't tell them to jump into the stands. They did that and got the penalty. And then they were getting the penalty, so I just threw the ball up there too. I'm like, they're not going to give us 2 penalties. So, sometimes you got to have fun.
Lane, linebacker Andrew Jones, been
Yeah.
good for you guys the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, I like that story a lot. When guys come here and things don't go the way that they want early, and they're not playing as much, to respond. you got really two choices at that point. And this happens a lot in life. You can sit there and complain, you can pout, you're not going to get rewarded, and you're going to play less. Or you can work really hard in practice. And when you get your special teams chances, you can play really well in there and earn more time. And he did that. And so I love when that happens, because guys go two ways at that point. Sometimes they go in the tank, they pout. A lot of times they end up not here. And so really cool what he's been doing.
You said it there at the start. Trinidad was kind of off today. Just in game, in the moment, what were you kind of seeing maybe he was struggling with?
That happens. Everybody's not going to play great. Same thing in whatever sports you guys go play, golf, tennis, whatever. You don't play the same every time. Sometimes you just have some days you're off a little bit, and when you have that, you need to have your defense play well and your running game play well. And I think we have a really good feel for that, and don't just call plays when we feel that. I feel that down there, and then we take the air out of the ball a little bit and get what you would call conservative. So it's not as exciting to watch. I think we got booed once. I understand. I felt the same way. But you're playing in the game because you're understanding the game, that you're playing really well on defense. The last thing you want to do is throw a pick and turn it over and limit, and then start getting in a sack game, which is what they feed off of. A team feeds off of sacks, especially with number 6. And we gave none up today, and part of that was by being conservative.
I want to ask about Kiwan and specifically his ability to finish off games in that, I think, 54-yarder at the end today. But also, I missed your throw in the student section, so for those of us who didn't see it, how far did you throw it?
I don't know. I'm glad you didn't see it. It kind of looked stupid. I was like, I shouldn't have done that. I was just like, we're already getting a penalty, so whatever. I like our students, man. They come, they got great energy. They were there, whatever we get here, 2 hours before the game, and they were already in there. So, I told our guys, just like after the words to go down there, thank them. I just really like that relationship that we have with our players and our students and how they show up. The truth is, it wasn't that way initially, so it's really cool to see.
And then Kiwan, his ability to end
Yeah.
games. How do you think he played today?
I thought he was electric. He was dynamic, even on some shorter runs. He only had like 4 negative yards the whole day. 4. So that's 24 carries, 171 yards, only 4 lost yards. And a lot of that is he just keeps making people miss. So he's really special and just a true sophomore. And taking care of the ball, which is extremely critical.
Coach, what went into the fake punt earlier in the game, and how much of an impact has your special teams had this season? And in terms, Oscar Bird and Lucas Carnero this season for you.
Yeah, they've done a great job. I think the kicker, probably doesn't get enough credit. The guy's done an amazing job, and there's some things there. Games feel a lot different when you're at 6 than 9. So he makes that to go to 9. That changes a lot of how you play, and the fake punt was just something we saw on film that felt we could roll out there and that they wouldn't be there. And even when it was 4th and 10 early, we were going to do it the first one. So good job by our special teams coaches.
Lane struggled a little bit early on the offensive line. Your thoughts now, a couple of games after that. Played much better. Protection's been better. Ran the ball well tonight.
Yeah, they really have. They've come a long ways. Continued to keep improving. We've stayed healthy, which always helps. Because those guys, a lot of times, your lineups change. So, and they've got more consistent. And I don't know the stats, but that ain't I think that's 1 sack in 3 weeks against 3 elite D lines and 2 elite rushers the last 2 weeks, so 3 in a row. I think that's 1 sack, so it's really good.
Prince Will has been a big part of your defense so far this year. How have you seen his development on and off the field thus far?
Yeah, I really like how he played today. That last play, he beats the tight end and he beats the tackle. They block the tight end on the first, and they block the tackle, and he beats them both to force the errant throw, the early throw. So, and I like too that he's growing up. You know, you see him make plays, he lines up and goes and makes another play. Doesn't have to have the, you know, giant celebration that a lot of people have to have nowadays every time they make a play. So I'm really pleased with him, and he's healthy. You know, he was hurt there, missed a game, then missed some time. So he makes a big difference to us, obviously.
And to go to the offensive side, Deuce Alexander had a big first half with a cup. I think he had 72 all-purpose yards or something like that. How have you seen him develop as well as being another young guy in our squad?
Yeah, Deuce has made really explosive plays. You know, they were geared up to come down and stop the run there early, so threw the post in behind the safety and made a really good play. And that's a really big pickup that wasn't you know, this huge pickup from a notoriety standpoint, because he hadn't had that much success at Wake Forest and stuff. So another credit to our system of finding those guys.
Coach, Andrew Jones has trickled around for you since the Georgia game, and he's made a lot more appearances since the Georgia game. What maybe went into the decision to play him a little bit more, and as well, what have you seen from him that has really made an impact for your defense so far?
Well, I mean, kind of covered that. The guy did a great job when he was on special teams, wasn't playing much on defense. When he got in there, made plays and earned more time.
Anything else for Coach?
All right, guys, thanks.